HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents The 1 Hour Miracle, a 5-step process to guide your self-healing. Change the story, re-author your life. By Andrew Hahn, Psyd, and Joan Beckett, LMHC, MBA. Read by Nicol Zanzarella. Publisher's note: in this audio edition, you will hear references to visual elements present in the print and ebook formats of the book. This book is not intended as a substitute for the medical advice of physicians and mental health professionals. The reader should regularly consult a physician and mental health professional in matters relating to their health, and particularly with respect to any symptoms that may require diagnosis or medical attention. The protocol in this book should not be used for self-help by anyone who has certain symptoms. These symptoms include delusions, hallucinations, periods of time in your life that you can't account for, and suicidal ideation. Also, if you have a diagnosis of DID or borderline personality disorder with any psychotic features, as well as if you have a severe addiction, you should not use this protocol for self-help. If you choose to use life-centered therapy, these symptoms and diagnoses require the support of a mental health professional trained in life-centered therapy and are beyond the scope of this book for self-help. Forward. The first time I saw a spontaneous remission of a serious disease, it rocked my view of modern medicine. As a physician who has seen multiple unexplained healings and witnessed remarkable before and after stories, my mission is to learn more about how to assist with these occurrences. Can we determine what dynamics are facilitating and encouraging the unexpected regression of a disease or illness? Why not use these principles with everyone? While dramatic healings may be rare, these concepts can help to lessen the suffering and the burden of disease for many. In the book The 1 Hour Miracle, Dr. Andrew Hahn and Joan Beckett make a huge claim: a 1-hour miracle? Hahn and Beckett are delving into mechanisms that stimulate the body's innate ability to self-heal. If it feels too new age or too large of a claim, one only needs to look at the placebo effect. While often discounted by medicine, the placebo effect is a testament to the fact that at least 30% of all healing and cure comes from self-healing mechanisms involving the body and mind. Further, look at the Institute of Noetic Sciences. They have documented over 2,000 cases of unexplained remissions globally, with thorough examination of the circumstances and the medical charts for each case. The origin of illness and disease is multifactorial, and we do not fully understand it. Each traditional paradigm of medicine has different underpinnings of health and illness. Put simply, traditional Chinese medicine attributes many illnesses to the individual organs being in disharmony or out of balance. In the Hawaiian tradition, illness may be a sign that ancestors from the previous generations contributing to the soul and body of the patient are not in harmony or not getting along within the person. Hippocrates described illness as an imbalance of the 4 humors or fluids in the body. Imbalance is initiated or caused by something, and Hahn and Beckett are going after this aspect in healing. What is the incident that caused the imbalance? The division between the mind and body was initiated by the writings of the philosopher Descartes. We have learned to use this reductionism in medicine. I am often asked, is this an energy illness or physical illness? Or, should I address the dietary changes first, or the trauma that led to the depression first? Prior to our current one cause, one cure medical model, every tradition understood that the wholeness of body and mind were important for healing. Further, we all intuitively know that the mind and body work synergistically. In fact, more and more evidence for the effect the mind exerts on the body and the body exerts on the mind is flourishing in the medical literature, especially with regard to mental health and chronic pain. Hahn and Beckett's work involves both mind and body at the same time, the long-awaited and instead of or. Mind and body united and addressed in a healing modality. What Hahn and Beckett bring to us is a healing model based on trauma as the incident that initiated the imbalance for the illness. The body can somatically carry our history and personal story the same way memories work in the mind. This includes trauma in this life, as well as the trauma an individual may carry historically, genetically, or karmically if that fits your belief system. On another note, belief in this model is not required for healing to occur. The technique works its magic on its own as it unites one's conscious and unconscious processes to illuminate something deeper. As an integrative medicine physician, the way I vet new healing techniques I am exploring is the following. Is it effective? Yes, the authors bring us many stories of healing, both spontaneous, one-hour miracles, as well as those that heal over time. Next, does it cause harm? This simple technique does not cause harm. We are not adding chemicals into the body or removing organs or nerves, and if too much vulnerability or fear occurs, the client can shut the process down. Next, I look to see if the modality has biologic plausibility. This technique does have biologic plausibility directly through the mind-body connection. And finally, I want to know if a healing technique can be shared and taught for others to perform. Hahn and Beckett do this remarkably well. They share how to use life-centered therapy, their body-full hypnotic technique for innate healing, for anyone who has the desire to learn it. Anyone can learn this, so why not learn it? I have the privilege of writing this forward with the editor of The 1 Hour Miracle, Megan Davis Hill. Her intimacy with the material, shared by Hahn and Beckett, stimulated her desire to offer her personal experience to the audience. Editor and physician together, professionally and personally experiencing this work, endorsing this work, and encouraging you to listen to this material, to absorb it, and to embrace it. Anne-Marie Chiasson, MD, MPH, Director, Fellowship in Integrative Medicine at the University of Arizona Andrew Weil Center for Integrative Medicine, and author of Energy Healing, The Essentials of Self-Care. As an editor of this book, I had a duty to make sure that the material could be understood by the audience with no psychology background, and to make sure that the instructions were clear so that anyone could utilize the tools of life-centered therapy at home. So using myself as the test audience, I attempted to follow the instructions and try some of these tools out on myself. In the beginning of the book, there's a line that Andy and Joni wrote that basically says that if you only get one thing out of this entire book, they hope that you'll get the tool to directly address the physical sensation of your emotion and ask it what it has to share. I thought about what physical feeling in my body pops up when I'm feeling stressed. For as long as I can remember, it's been a tightness in my chest that constricts my breathing a bit. I honestly can't remember a time in my life when I didn't have that feeling at least once a day. I've always been a type A-driven person. I figured that stress just came along with whatever I was trying to accomplish on any given day. It was the only physical feeling I could think of when reading that passage. So, I closed my eyes, took some calming breaths, tried to really focus on that tight chest feeling, and asked out loud, "Tightness in chest, what have you come to share with me?" At first, nothing happened. I was just sitting there with my eyes closed, slowly breathing in and out, in and out. Impatient as any of my fellow Type A audience out there, I asked again out loud, "Tightness in chest, what have you come to share with me?" The response came to me in an instant this time, in an inner voice in my mind that I can only describe as soothing, like the voice of my mother who's been deceased for over 10 years now. "It's okay to die alone," it said. What? I resisted the urge to open my eyes. I mean, where the hell did that come from? I took a few breaths, trying to wrap my head around the message. "It's okay to die alone," the voice said again. "It's okay. You'll be okay." My mind traveled to my 4 children. I had several thoughts. Is part of the reason why I feel such a strong need to be there for them in every moment, even as they transition into adulthood, Because I'm afraid that they'll leave me and not come back, leaving me alone? Yep. Hard yes. Is part of my drive to achieve in everything I do because I hope that my success will make people want to be around me so that I don't end up alone? Yes, again. Well, damn. But what if I don't like to be alone anyway? There's peace. You'll feel peaceful, the voice said. Suddenly, I just knew that that was true. I opened my eyes, and a wave of peace washed through me, taking my tightness in chest feeling with it. It was gone. Poof. I texted my friend, frantically explaining what had just gone down. I'm pretty sure I ended it with WITAF ? That was 5 months ago now. I haven't felt a tightness in my chest since. A stress feeling I'd felt every day of my life for as long as I could remember. Damn, indeed. My second revelation came when reading the chapter on life-centered therapy protocol. I had to come up with something that I wanted to work on. To be very candid, I was feeling particularly awesome on that day, thinking that my life was pretty perfect. Hooray for me. Oh, the ego. But then it came into my mind that I often procrastinate working on my novels, having a tendency to do all other possible editing and ghostwriting work first. This was becoming more problematic since I had promised my agent that I would deliver my next novel by an upcoming deadline. Logically, I knew that both kinds of work were equally important. Why did I always spend way more time on the editing or ghostwriting? It was a curiosity to me. So, following the protocol, I had to discover what physical feelings I felt when I had both editing or ghostwriting work and my novel work to do. I closed my eyes, breathed in and out, and focused inward and down into my gut. In just a few seconds, I felt a pressure in my head, starting at my temples and radiating out around my head. It really hurt. Yowza. I was super uncomfortable, but I wanted to see what it was all about. So, next step. Pain in head, what have you come to share? I asked out loud. In my mind's eye, a scene came into view as if I was looking at a movie screen. It was my first-grade classroom with nasty old Mrs. Boatwright pacing in the front of the room. I could see first-grade me sitting at my desk clad in my favorite light blue Smurf overalls, my strawberry blonde braids dangling over little shoulders. I was writing on smooth, line-ruled paper. My pencil was flying. I couldn't see what I was writing, but I could feel how I felt in that moment. Excited. I was so excited about whatever I was writing. I felt joy, a bubbling over the pot kind of joy. I felt pride. I felt in the zone of creativity. Then, wham! Mrs. Boatwright slammed 2 large textbooks onto the top of my head. Pain radiated from the crown of my head to my temples and then around my whole head. "I said it was time to get out your math book," she hollered. I scrambled to do as she asked, frantic and doing my best not to cry. In that moment, I decided it's not safe to write my stories. Work has to come first. I opened my eyes in the present. Holy shit! I had completely forgotten that Mrs. Boatwright had assaulted me. And she was still affecting me all these years later. With that realization, I made a new decision. I'm not letting that bitch have one more second of power over me. Little protector in my mind, thank you for your service, but it's safe to be creative now. It's safe to write our stories now. Once I had that thought and made that new decision, the pain vanished. I haven't struggled with making time for my novel work since. So, what started out as an editing project for me has become a truly enlightening personal journey. And I understand that this is just the beginning. I sincerely hope that this book will lead you on a similar journey of self-discovery. There's peace and great joy in this book just waiting for you. Megan Davis Hill, Editor. Introduction. Life is filled with challenges. Sometimes these challenges can be almost debilitating. The loss of a loved one, a serious medical diagnosis, mental health issues, a natural catastrophe resulting in a loss of material possessions or more. The loss of a job because it has become obsolete, the betrayal of a spouse or significant other, the inability to act on what you know is true for you, the pain of regret. Other problems are maddening in their seeming mundaneness. Do you have to cook one more meal, take the kids to one more soccer practice, or stay late at work because the boss demands it even though you think it's a waste of time? Even if you are essentially happy with your life choices that created these scenarios and believe that your life is good, routines can wear anyone down and lead you to have a feeling that something could make a good life better. Then there are the loftier challenges that creep into our everyday thoughts, such as, is this all there is? What is this life about anyway? Why do I get up in the morning? So many of us have spent so much emotional and intellectual energy on trying to find the best way to navigate life, both in times of challenge and in times of relative peace. Sometimes this path feels fraught with uncertainty about how to understand the meaning of all that happens in our lives, from the most horrific to the most sublime. The 1 Hour Miracle offers a new perspective on what life is about and on our relationship to it that can give us a renewed sense of hope in the face of these challenges. It provides a way to resolve them that can lead to a reduction in suffering. It first does this through reaffirming our understanding of life, and then secondarily by giving us a way to work with what we call trauma, a subset of challenges that is the focus of this book. We will begin with our definition of trauma, which is broader than what people typically think it is, and show you how this new perspective and its implications lead to the cessation of suffering. What if your problems could be resolved and the suffering that goes along with them could be alleviated? What if anxiety could transform into serenity? What if aliveness could replace the deadening feeling of depression? What if chronic pain that thus far has been unresponsive to treatment might be resolved, leaving a person pain-free? What if negative relationship problems could be replaced by relationships filled with understanding, empathy, and a shared sense of engagement? What if peace of mind and a feeling of being at home could replace the despair of alienation? The 1 Hour Miracle presents a revolutionary healing framework called life-centered therapy that is a blueprint for transforming our problems. Since 1994, we, authors Andrew Hahn, Psyd, and Joan Beckett, MBA, MA, CAGS, LMHC, and those we have trained, have successfully used life-centered therapy to remedy the following conditions: physical, chronic pain, asthma, allergies, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, idiopathic diseases, that is, those of unknown origin, sexual dysfunction, addictions, and others, emotional and mental, depression, other mood disorders, anxiety, phobias, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, paranoia, loss and violence traumas, limiting and negative beliefs. Relational, destructive patterns and reactivity when your buttons are pushed. Spiritual, alienation, despair, inertia. While so much good comes from existing approaches to therapy, we offer new solutions for anyone, particularly those who have been frustrated with less than optimal results in the past. The 1-hour miracle expands the understanding of both the causes of and the resolutions for problems, leading to extraordinary outcomes in record time through a novel way or process of marrying mindfulness and somatic, body-centered therapy. Sometimes the transformation takes just 1 hour. Amy, a 55-year-old small business owner, had experienced bouts of anxiety for years that she attributed to her childhood. Pharmacological treatment had little to no effect. In just one session of life-centered therapy, she discovered an underlying fear. When she was able to sit with that newly discovered fear, the anxiety that she originally sought treatment for abated. Bridget, a 45-year-old teacher, had an ongoing post-operative sensation of being choked. Her physician told her that there was nothing about the neck surgery that could account for this. After one session of life-centered therapy, in which she realized that her focus on the protection of her children was her problem, her symptoms resolved and never returned. One man who suffered from multiple night terrors each night for more than 7 years was able to heal his sleep disorder after neurologists and traditional therapy didn't work. An addict was able to effortlessly stop abusing substances and regain control and confidence in his life. One woman rediscovered the magic of joy in her life and was able to leave an unfulfilling job and move to a more fulfilling career path with confidence. For students and for their parents, too, an exciting result is that one student who had struggled with focus and procrastination with his schoolwork attained an ability to concentrate, organize, and perform. His GPA went from a 3.0 to a 4.0. People have seen improvement and, in some cases, full healing of their physical ailments, from such things as back pain, acid reflux, symptoms associated with allergies and asthma, high blood pressure, and even high cholesterol, in the absence of any lifestyle changes or medication. Many of those suffering with the symptoms of chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and autoimmune diseases have seen symptom reduction. In one case, although life-centered therapy did not fully cure one man's Crohn's disease, he wrote that it gave me a lasting sense of psychological and stress relief, which positively impacted my symptoms. You, too, can have such results. All you have to do is follow a few simple steps that we are going to share with you in this book. And if all you did was this, we believe you may find such miracles also. Since you don't know this firsthand, we invite you to be skeptical and curious and find out for yourself. What have you got to lose except perhaps your suffering? The freedom of knowing you'll be okay, no matter what happens. The invitation of this book is freedom, which we will talk more about later. The freedom to be able to say, I'll be okay, no matter what happens, so that you can face any circumstance with courage and grace. This will enable you to find and maintain a sense of inner peace. Ultimately, this is what we mean when we use the term miracle in the title of the book. We define a miracle as any time you become freer of suffering. The dictionary defines it as a surprising or welcomed event that is inexplicable by natural or scientific laws and is therefore considered to be the work of a divine agency. While we believe in miracles as defined in the dictionary, we also know that many healings that seem miraculous are understandable when we open to the insights we share with you in this book. We believe, for example, that it is understandable how untreatable chronic back pain can resolve in 1 hour. In many books, authors tell stories about what happened with their clients and the clinician's understanding of sessions and cases. Very few books have clients sharing their own stories, understanding, and experiences from the inside out. In life-centered therapy, one of our guiding principles is that the one whose story it is the expert, not the one who knows the story secondhand from the outside in. This is why we invited the people who have experienced the work to share their stories and their understanding firsthand. Because they are the true experts of their experiences, the stories are theirs to tell. You'll see clients' first-hand experiences written in italics throughout the book. Whatever you want to change in your life, we are here to help you do it. This book provides you with an entirely new way of looking at life and understanding your suffering, giving you inspiration and hope that you can create miracles in your life. For therapists, it reveals a new way of working with clients that provides seemingly miraculous results, with enough information provided so that they can start using the approach right away. An appeal of life-centered therapy is that you can do this work for yourself, and you can facilitate others when they do their work. One of the beautiful aspects of life-centered therapy, LCT, is that it is guided by the self. This sense of being in charge of your own healing is empowering and liberating. Evan H. In the 1 Hour Miracle, we will guide you through a simple 5-step process that will lead you on a path to healing. We will begin by giving you the worldview from which this approach is born. We will follow this with the foundational information that lets you understand why and how the approach works. After that, we will move right into you doing your own healing work. We will help you to identify the root cause of your suffering and then to find a way to resolve it, leading to a life of freedom, peace, joy, wisdom, and vitality. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Evolution of Life and a Creation Myth. We long for union. The divine longs for love. What would happen if we could understand life in such a way that we brought meaning to everything that happens to us, because we come to know that in the very fabric of our being, that everything that happens to us is in service of something far greater than each of us as individuals? And that this knowing, even when we are feeling pushed over the edge, can provide a roadmap of reason that invites us each morning to fully engage with life, no matter what form it takes for us in the moment. The way to do this is to open to a new way of understanding life, that life is a living, evolving being just like we are, and, just like us, has an intelligence of its own. Whenever we are talking about something as a living being and using its proper name, we will capitalize it. Realizing and knowing this provides a way to be with life's challenges, having an open heart, an open mind, and a full engagement with whatever ails you. But there's more to it, of course. Perhaps a way to understand our relationship with life is to look at the relationship of cells to bodies. We have approximately 3 trillion human cells in our bodies. On the surface, you can look at every cell in the body and you will find that no two are exactly alike, just like snowflakes. Yet, all of who we are is contained in each differentiated cell. Dolly, the cloned sheep born in England in 1996, was a living example of this concept. She was grown from the single cell of another sheep. All the genetic information to grow another sheep was resident in one cell, proving that while cells have differentiated responsibilities, they simultaneously hold the entire blueprint of who we are. We wish to invite you to be open to what perhaps may feel like a mystical concept. Each of us is a cell in the body of life. As cells in the body of life, while we have differentiated responsibilities, we also hold within us all the information of life. And just like the cells in our bodies, we all look different from each other at the same time. Life has a consciousness of its own, an awareness of itself, and an awareness of the world. To simplify, it may help to think of life as having a mind of its own. What is the consequence of life's awareness of itself and the world? It creates the possibility and capacity for life to evolve. As each of us is a cell in the body of life, we, too, are and have access to all the consciousness of life, and, therefore, we are an integral part in the evolutionary process. The question is whether we are going to be an unwitting cog or an active participant in the process. Do we also have a willingness to become truly self-aware and aware of our true relationship with life? This is what we mean by free will, whether or not we move forward with willingness, acceptance, and perspective. And just like it is true in our bodies, where every cell has its unique contribution to make, so, too, each of us has a unique contribution to make in this evolution. On the surface level, which is the personal level.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?